how can we develop mental resilience, including practical tips?
Okay, great. So I took some things down, right, so that this would help me in ensuring that I cover as much as I need to cover. So like I was saying, you know how it's easy for people to look at you and be like, oh, this person must be very resilient. It's not true. You know, it's not true. There's something that is called common humanity, and that is in the fact that we all deal with individual problems. We all have realities that are not known to other people, but are very, very known and close to us, you know. And it is, the first thing is to understand that because of, we need to always understand that people are dealing with their problems, even though it's not apparent, so that we do not isolate ourselves and think that the problems are always in our camp. The problems are not always in your camp. Perhaps it is the way people handle problems. Maybe it's their own resilience or how they have, you know, helped themselves to navigate issues that doesn't make it apparent that they're dealing with whatever they're dealing with. In building resilience, and I always say that because of the kids that we're raising, so parents need to be very aware. In building resilience, in addition to all the other things I talked about, the care of the pregnancy, the immediate environment that the child is going to be raising, the schooling, these are other things that we need to know. A child must have physical connection. And unfortunately, look at the reality of the world that we are raising kids in. We raise kids in a world that is dominated by only virtual connection. A child has a tab 24/7. If you do not stop that child from holding the tab, they will be there 24/7. They can only take breaks for maybe a drink, food. There was something that I did in my house, and it was very intentional. I did not introduce my kids to tabs until they were like 7. So my first is 7. Yeah, so she just got her tab this year. And the other one is 5. So she just got her tab as well this year. And it was, you know, relatively intentional. I didn't want them hooked on it. And I can say that they will ask for those tabs occasionally, but it's not what, they won't wake up and go reach for their tab. But maybe when we're going out, I can give it to them just to keep them busy, knowing fully well that maybe playing with it after like 20-30 minutes, they're already bored, they will drop it. Kids need physical interactions. They need physical connection. The virtual world is so pulling. It is so endearing that kids think that that's exactly how the world is. It's a fantasy-based kind of world, and that's not the reality of the situation that we're living in. Another way that one of my teachers taught me resilience was in saying, do you remember how growing up on the streets, wherever we grew up, I grew up on the streets of Lagos, somewhere, you know, in Lagos. And even then, this was in the maybe late 90s, at least when I could leave the house to go play. Remember how boys would pull themselves together, you know, and play ball, play soccer. You know those things, the monkey post thing, where everyone is playing and everybody's rolling on the floor, and then somebody does something that the other person does not like, or they score over the monkey post and they're shouting, no, that's not a goal. And somebody said, no, it's a goal, I saw it. And then they fight, and then they make up, and then they pass themselves on the back, and then they build a spirit of friendship, and they learn conflict resolution. Those are ways of building resilience, because you learn to speak, to interact. You might be the new kid on the block. Maybe the first day you go there, very awkward. But after a while, you loosen up, and then you join the pool of other boys, and before you know, you've made friends. These days, a lot of kids are so isolated. They grow up to be very socially awkward adults. The other thing with even girls, you play your sway and all those other things, you know, the joy in singing, learning new songs, making new friends, fighting, making up, keeping an appointment the next day. Don't worry, we'll have a rematch tomorrow. I will beat you up. In learning to win and to lose. Those are the physical connections that build resilience. And so for adults, we must try to build tangible physical connections. We must begin to put ourselves and plug ourselves in meaningful relationships, relationships that strengthen all these areas that are weak in us. So that's the first thing, building physical connection. In our kids, not taking them away from the virtual world. Many kids, that's all they do. And I keep saying it. A lot of people have friends only online. In real life, they have absolutely no friends. And they are so comfortable behind their tabs that they cannot even strike a conversation. They cannot carry on a conversation. These are things that need to begin to change.